Hi, my beautiful family. Family is the operative word in this particular video. Now, I've had discussions with different people at different times about what a family is, right? And there are times when, well, first of all, we know that it takes a man and a woman to make a baby. We all got here that way. No argument there. And if you're arguing about that, something's wrong with you. Science is trying to do something other than what the Most High God put into place, which is nature. Male, female creates, period, right? But nowadays, we are going outside of that. Families are very different now. They're not traditional. Families are made up of a variety of different things now. And there are a lot of women who are not married, who are successful in their careers and everything, and now they want children, right? And they have not found or have not been found by their king. And so they are going, pulling the cart before the horse, and they're going and getting artificially inseminated, right? And making babies that way. That's one way of having a family. I'm going to bring up them all, and I want to ask you all if you think any of them are fair and or if any of them are godly. If this is what the Most High God is pleased with, or are we doing selfish things? So that's one way of having a family, a woman going without a man and getting artificially inseminated. Then there are women who know men and they choose a man that they know who agrees with them to maybe participate in the child's life or not, but that woman is still going without the traditional sense of family, which is a husband in the household to raise and nurture that child. So they have a baby that way also. Now you also have couples who are together who cannot conceive. Now I'm learning a lot about why a lot of women aren't conceiving. One major thing I learned that I'd like to share with you is that our bodies are like cesspools because we eat a bunch of garbage. We are not eating medicine foods that keep us healthy and keep our womb healthy to host and develop a baby. So that is one major reason. And then there's other things too that play a part. But is it okay to go and get I can't even say it. What's wrong with me? Artificially inseminated. That doesn't even sound right. Artificial. Artificial. Are you catching on to that? Artificial is not real. Think about the science of today. I always think about Frankenstein. Like he was this zombie type character of a person. And science is all about that. They want to recreate what God already created. Excuse me. I'm getting tired tongue. Just excuse me. Sometimes when I'm excited about a topic, I just be fumbling all over the place. Just bear with me. Y'all get the point. Because y'all smart. But anyway, science is trying to keep up with the Most High God, which is Satan basically, because he said when he was thrown out that he would be like the Most High. So everything he does is copying. So he's given us a false sense of what family is and how it should be created or gone about. So he wants to do whatever the opposite is of what the Most High is doing. So now he's coming up with all this Frankenstein technology to create families. And that's another way, the artificially insemination, because maybe a woman can't hold a child, so they have another woman hold the egg and the sperm of your husband. Are these things okay with the Lord? So that's the third way I'm showing you how families are being created nowadays. And the fourth way, which I think is by far the worst, in all honesty, because we have same-sex parenting. Now, we are definitely not getting ready to go into the gay thing, whether it's right or wrong. We know what the Word of God says. We're talking about today's families. And that is another setup that we have today. We have two men raising children, knowing full well those two men did not create those children, nor can two men create children. And the same as with two women. Two women cannot create a child, right? And so we're having these parents raising children. Now, are all four of these ways of creating a family outside of what the Most High God ordained for us okay? I think I already answered that question for you when I said it was outside of what the Most High God ordained for us. What about the children? This is what I want to talk about, the children. We're selfish by nature, every last one of us. Our biggest desire in life is to do what feels good to us. And when we do that, we're not thinking about the Most High God. We're not thinking about other people. And we're certainly not thinking about our children, the next generation that is coming up. We're not thinking about the mental trauma it's going to cause them when we do these things. We're not thinking about the emotional trauma and a spiritual pain that's deep within because we're going outside of what the Most High God designed for us. It's a spiritual trauma as well. Now, some years ago, I had come across this. I don't remember if it was a blog or a website. I don't even remember how I came. You know how sometimes you're looking at YouTube and then other things will come up based on what you're looking at. And I got to review some children who are now, they adults who are now discussing how it was being raised by same-sex parents and how they were confused and how they were missing out because we need the male aspect and we need the female aspect. They work hand in hand. This is God ordained. It works hand in hand. So if you're being raised by two moms or two dads, something is missing. A big piece of the puzzle is missing. And these people grew up and were discussing it. And now they were being attacked by the gay community for their own experiences, which is so unfair and crazy. And the gay community always talk about being bullied, but they are the biggest bullies because you want to make the entire world think the way you do when we all have a right to do what we are doing, right? We all have a right because God gave us the freedom of choice. So we all have that in place. We can all do that. We can all choose the way we want to live, and we can choose to live outside of the will of the Most High God. He gave us the freedom of choice. So now you want to take that away from people and make them think that your way is the way, when not one of us were created without male and female. You need the sperm and you need the egg. It goes together. This is how every last being has come to be, including the animals. Including the animals, male and female, right? So is it fair to bring up a child that way? And that child is going to be scarred, confused. Is it fair? Now let's move on to the other ways of creating a family. Is it fair for a woman to go out purposefully and go get artificially inseminated and create children or a child without the dad being present? Is that fair to the child? The Most High didn't make a mistake when he said male and female procreate. He knew that the child would need both. Both parties are important to the growth and nurturing of the child. So we go outside of his will and we do something like that out of selfish desire because I want to be a mother and I don't want a man. So I'm going to make a baby without him. I need a sperm to make the baby, but I'm not going to have him help me raise my child. Is that fair to the child? What type of emotional scarring will that child endure? Mental scarring, spiritual scarring will that child endure? And again, someone else carries the baby for you. What about the emotional attachment to that baby when you're carrying it and then you give it up? And then the other mother is raising it as if it's hers, but it's really not. You know, it's not, unless the egg is placed in another woman. I still find that all Frankenstein medicine. You're taking my egg out of its original place and placing it inside of another woman for the child to grow there. Because for whatever reason, I cannot hold the baby. I don't agree with it. And I don't believe the Lord does either. But I'm not going to go deeper. I just want us to look at what's going to happen to the children when they grow up and they get this information. You know, but I guess a lot of people are just going to tell their children, oh, well, I loved you so much and I wanted you so much that I went through these great lengths to have you. But children are going to have emotional scars. They're going to be confused. It's confusing for them. It really is confusing. So I just wanted to talk about this topic because it is really important. We are so selfish. We are very selfish. We do things that are pleasing to ourselves. We don't care if the Most High God is pleased with it or not. We just going to do what we feel like doing because we can. Just because we can, we do. You better think about what you're doing before you decide to do it, because these children are going to grow up and they're going to look to you for answers. Our children look to us for answers. I look to my parents for answers. I've been hurt and scarred by my parents as well. And I grew up in a male female environment whom they came together and they had us naturally. And there was still questions, because anytime we're not doing things in the way that the Most High God want us to do it, there's going to be problems. People are going to suffer emotional abuse, mental, spiritual. It's abusive to purposefully go outside of God's will and do what you feel like doing because you feel like doing it. You're not answering to God. And then you have this child who later on is going to grow up and have questions. Is it fair to do these things because we feel like we want to do it? Are you thinking selfishly, or are you thinking about everybody involved, including our Creator who created you? I mean, we have to really stop going with the times. Like, as time goes on, things are getting more and more crazy. And it's pushed upon society because we see it in commercials. We see it everywhere we go. It's like it's promoted to do anything that's outside of the will of God. That's permissible. But doing things inside his will, oh no, we can't do that. That's old school. Nah, we have to change with the times. Meanwhile, God never changes. So what he has ordained will forever be. It will forever be as he ordained it. And if not for what he did, none of us would be here. So we can always add logic into these things, but a lot of times we don't, because we're so fleshy. We want to do what we want to do. It is unfair to bring children into the world outside of what the Most High has set up for them. Again, it is unfair to bring children into the world outside of what the Most High God, our Creator, has ordained the family structure to be. Unfortunately, a lot of us were married and our marriages didn't work and we had children. Were my children affected by it? Absolutely. And I started out on the right foot. We started out married, but because we did not have the tools and to properly, navigate in our marriage, we parted ways. And did it affect the family? Absolutely. Anything that's outside of God's will is going to affect the children. Children are affected by our moves. What we do affect the next generation. We need to stop being selfish. If you really love your children, stop being selfish. If you really have this strong desire to be a parent, stop being selfish. If you decide you want to do something outside of the will of God, know that you're going to cause your child to suffer. And that's my message to us today, family. We are sinning like crazy. And then you want to invite children into the mess. Think about it. We're sinning like crazy and we want to bring babies. What future do your child have being born in sin and raised in sin, and they're patterning their actions after what they see, after what you do? And a lot of us want a mini me, but a mini monster you or a mini godly you? What exactly do you want from your children? Are children just like a pocketbook, a pair of shoes, a home, a car? They're just accessories to us? Because that's what it looks like. It looks like children are becoming an accessory to us. Just something to have, like the latest handbag, the best car that's out on the market. Let me go have a baby. And let me have it by any means necessary. Just so I can say this is my child. Dress them up like they're in a dog show or something for the world to be entertained by their existence, and not considering what that child actually is going to need spiritually mentally and emotionally. If you're selfish like this, you are not meant to be a parent. Don't do it. Don't do it. Your child is going to suffer and they're going to come to you one day. You're ruining people. You're ruining people. Anything outside of God's will is going to fail. You're not going to get the best out of it. It's not going to benefit you in the end, nor the child that did not ask to be born that way. The Most High God ordained family the way He ordained family. And we're doing whatever in these last crazy, evil, wicked days. Don't participate in it. So if anybody who is looking at this right now and you decided to do something to make yourself happy because you think it's going to make you happy doing things your way, and you're going to bring children in this world outside of the will of the Most High God, I'm begging you. I'm begging you. Rethink and do not do it. There are going to be people that you are creating into this world who are going to be unhappy about it. They're going to be unhappy. If I myself, who was born the way I was supposed to, male and female, who were married, but they were not righteous, and that still harmed me and caused me to have brokenness that I had to have the Most High heal me from. And that was the best situation that the child started out. So if that can be a problem, if we're outside of God's will, imagine bringing a baby in circumstances outside of that, on top of them dealing with the unrighteous living of the parents. I mean, come on. We have to consider our babies. They're supposed to be the future. If we're creating little monsters are going to grow up and they're going to be grown monsters running the world. Is that what we want? Because that is what's happening. Modern science has nothing to do with God. And I was taught that. I remember being taught that, oh, God has given man knowledge to do these things. Absolutely not. Why would He give man knowledge to do things outside of what He designed? Make sense out of the things that we say. Make sense. Make sense. He gave us a brain. He blessed us with a brain to use logic, question things, and get answers. All right, family, I'm done. I'm done. This is a highly important topic, and I'm praying that somebody somewhere is moved today by what I said in this video. And it's not about bashing a group, so please don't come at me. To each his own. You do what you want, because that's what you're going to do anyway. But we have a Most High God who's watching us, and we're all going to be accountable for the things that we do. But I'm just making a point for us selfish beings, because a lot of us are always selfish in different ways. Bringing babies in the world, outside of God's will is unfair to the child. So just think about that, and don't think about your own selfish desires. Think about the children. They are the future. They deserve everything that God put in place for them. We're living in a rough world, and that's the least that they can have is a home the way God wanted a home to be. Peace, love, and blessings, family, and I will see you in my next video. Please subscribe, like or dislike, comment if you like, and hit the notification button. Love you, family. Be blessed and live God's way. Have a blessed day.